You know that feeling, right? It's one of the most universal, frustrating things in modern life. You grab your phone, a phone that's maybe only a year or two old, and that little battery icon is already screaming red. It just feels like it dies faster and faster every single month. So, why? What is going on? Okay, let's dive into the real science behind why our batteries die. This right here, this is the central mystery we're going to solve. And no, you're not imagining it. That slow slide from all-day power down to constant charger anxiety is a very real thing, and it's happening inside every single phone out there. To really get it, we need to start with just one single, really important number. And this is it, 500. Seriously, this number is the key that unlocks the entire story of your battery's life and, well, its eventual inevitable decline. So what on earth does it mean? So that 500, that's the average number of charge cycles your phone's lithium-ion battery can handle before its performance takes a serious nosedive. Now, a charge cycle is just one full drain from 100% down to zero, whether you do that all at once or in little chunks over a few days. After about 500 of those, your battery can usually only hold about 80% of what it could when it was brand new, and that is the point where you really start to feel it. But why does this happen? Well, the answer involves an invisible war happening inside the battery itself. The first culprit is straight-up chemistry. Deep inside your phone, there is a microscopic battle raging, and with every single charge, your battery loses a tiny, irreversible fight. It's a process that scientists call capacity loss. Yeah, that's the fancy term for it. But what it really means is that as you use and recharge your phone day in and day out, the battery's ability to even hold a charge literally fades away. It's not just getting tired. Parts of it are being permanently knocked out of the game. To see how, we need to meet the main characters in this little chemical drama. Researchers at the famous Argonne National Laboratory, they figured out exactly who the key players are. On one side of your battery, you've got manganese. Let's call that our villain. And the victim? The precious lithium ions, the little guys that are supposed to travel back and forth to give you power. The whole problem starts when these two meet up where they're not supposed to. Think of it like a tiny microscopic heist. Here's how it goes down. Step 1. Rogue manganese ions escape from their post when you're charging. Step 2. They travel across the battery to the other side. And then step 3. The trap. Once they get there, they set a chemical trap that literally ensnares those lithium ions. And here's the kicker. Every single ion that gets trapped is one that can no longer carry a charge for you. This happens with every single cycle, slowly but surely stealing your battery's life. But you know what? Chemistry is only half the story. It turns out there's a digital thief silently stealing your power too. The second culprit is hiding in plain sight. It's the software running on your phone. See, your phone is leading a secret life, and it's shockingly busy, even when you think it's just sleeping in your pocket. Okay, this is absolutely wild. A major study from Purdue University found that, on average, over 40% of your daily battery drain happens when the screen is off. Just let that sink in for a minute. For hours and hours a day, nearly half your battery life is being eaten up while your phone is supposedly doing nothing. What in the world is it so busy doing? So, what's all the fuss about? Well, the biggest power hog is the cellular radio, which is constantly checking in with the network. That's called paging. But right behind that, you guessed it, background apps and services, constantly waking your phone up to check for notifications, sync data, you name it. And they do this using a very specific and very power-hungry tool. It's called a wake lock. And you can pretty much think of it as an app grabbing your phone's brain and yelling, "Hey, don't you dare go to sleep. I've got important stuff to do." Now, sometimes that's necessary, for sure. But what researchers found is that this tool is often misused by apps, leading to a huge, totally unnecessary power drain in the background. So we've got a chemical heist and a bunch of software thieves all draining our power. It sounds kind of bad, right? Well, the good news is, now that we actually know who the enemies are, we can start to fight back with some smarter habits. All right, here is your new battery playbook. First off, just try to keep your charge between about 20 and 80%. This avoids the major stress at the extreme ends that really fuels that chemical heist. Second, keep it cool. Heat is the ultimate enemy here. It's like an accelerant for all that chemical decay. Third, actually go into your phone's settings and manage your background apps. Stop them from using those pointless wake locks. And finally, try to stick to quality-approved chargers. They provide stable power that creates less heat and less damage. Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a quick rapid-fire round and just bust some of the most common battery myths out there. Advice that might actually be hurting, not helping your phone. Myth number 1, you have to drain it all the way to 0. No, that is a total holdover from old, ancient battery technologies. For your modern phone, that is probably the worst thing you can do. It puts incredible stress on the battery and just speeds up that chemical decay. So, busted. All right, next up, charging your phone overnight will kill the battery. Worried about overcharging? You can relax. Your phone is way smarter than you think. It automatically stops pulling power once it hits 100%. Now, it's not ideal to keep it topped up for hours on end, but it is not going to fry the battery like people seem to fear. Busted. And the final myth, fast chargers are battery destroyers. Okay, this one is a little more nuanced. Yes, fast charging creates more heat, and we know heat is bad. But your phone and your charger are designed to talk to each other. They manage the temperature, and they slow things down as the battery fills up. Using one all the time might age it a tiny bit faster, but for occasional use, totally fine. Busted. And this brings us to a really interesting final thought. We spend so much time and energy hoping for some huge breakthrough in battery chemistry. But given that 40% of our battery is being drained by stuff happening in the background, maybe the real revolution won't come from a new material. Maybe it'll come from building smarter, more efficient software that finally respects our battery and just lets our phones get some sleep when they're supposed to.